Currently, the U.S. military is using the CH-53E Super Stallion as its go-to heavy lift helicopter. However, this model has been in operation since 1981. As a result, the U.S. were looking to replace the aging specialized helicopter for something more modern, more powerful. So the U.S. military turned to the creators of the Super Stallion to come up with an updated model. That being Sikorsky, who have been a subsidiary of defense manufacturing juggernauts Lockheed Martin since 2015, after they were purchased for $9 billion, while Lockheed made $65.4 billion in net sales during the whole of 2020. Anyway, back in 2006, the deal was signed and development began for what would later be called the CH-53K King Stallion. This deal initially required 156 Stallions to be delivered to the U.S. military for the cost of $3 billion. Only a year later, the number of copters increased to 207. With orders in place, Sikorsky opened up the Precision Components Technology Center in Stratford, Connecticut for the cost of $20 million. This facility would specialize in generating various parts needed for the CH-53K. From there, the company created 2 prototypes of the CH-53K. In 2013, the U.S. gave the company a further $435 million to create another 4 prototypes. In 2018, the U.S. received their first King Stallion, which are 99 feet long and 28 feet in height. However, there were problems. A number of technical issues were discovered during testing of the new helicopters. Time magazine stated that the problems included, quote, exhaust gas sucked back into the engine, limited service life for parts for the main rotor gearbox, deficiencies with the tail rotor and drive shaft, and late deliveries of redesigned parts, unquote. That seems like a lot of stuff that might be wrong. After these have been addressed, further testing is expected to happen this year, while the King Stallion won't be introduced to the military's active fleet until 2023 at the earliest, according to reports. In the meantime, the pilots can still get used to the new layout on the King Stallion since the training program, the Containerized Flight Training Device, or CFTD, was delivered to the U.S. military during 2020. While creating the Maintenance Training Device Suite, or MTDS, and a Helicopter Emulation Maintenance Trainer, or HEMT, was awarded to Kratos Defense and Security Solutions in 2013 for $8.5 million. Due to the King Stallion being a heavy lift helicopter, its main purpose is to, well, lift heavy objects. For example, its external lift capabilities can lift items up to 36,000 pounds in weight. On top of that, it can actually fly while carrying the items. That's the same weight as lifting 2.5 adult elephants, making it one of the most powerful helicopters in the world. This power will be useful in carrying vehicles such as the High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, or HMMWV, which weighs around 14,000 pounds. Lockheed Martin have stated that the King Stallion can carry twice as much payload as the Super Stallion. They further added that in the future, the King will only require small modifications to further increase the already massive maximum payload capabilities. With the added 36,000-pound weight, this takes the full weight of the King Stallion to 91,000 pounds. For tactical missions, small vehicles can even be placed inside the cabin in lieu of troops. But if they do take the troops, excluding the 2 pilots, it has 32 crash-worthy seats that can be added and removed in the main cabin. The Stallion can be used for patient transport as well. In this case, they can stack 24 patients within the cabin. One General Electric T408 engine has 7,500 horsepower, so the King Stallion has 2 of these installed. This power grants the helicopter a top speed of 170 knots, or 196 miles per hour. General Electric was awarded the contract to supply their engines for the project during 2017 for the cost of $143 million. The internal fuel capacity can hold up to 2,286 gallons of fuel, which aids the helicopter in getting a maximum range of 530 miles. Lockheed have stated that the fuel efficiency is 18% improved on the Super Stallion. On top of all this, the King Stallion also comes with a few neat extra pieces of equipment and features. For pilots, there's triple redundant fly-by-wire flight controls. The chopper also has aerial refueling capabilities. It's been created to cope in all weather conditions. The helicopter is able to be stored onto an aircraft carrier with no issues. For the troops, there's opportunity for weapons equipment provisions as well. In 2017, the price of each of the King Stallions was rising rapidly. At that point, each one was costing around $122 million. Yet during 2018, it was reported that the cost of the helicopter had jumped and reached between $139 million to $144 million. For comparison, the previous model, the Super Stallion, was stated to cost $24.36 million per copter back in 1992. With inflation, that would nearly be $46 million today. In the same year of 2018, Time magazine estimated the overall cost of the CH-53 King Stallion project had reached a huge $31 billion over its lifetime. During 2020, the U.S. Marines reportedly purchased a further 6 King Stallions from Sikorsky for the price of around $550 million, giving us an average cost of around $92 million each, a big drop from the 2018 cost. After seeing how costly the CH-53K is, we want to look at other high-priced helicopters and aircraft that the world's militaries have splashed out on. In 1989, the first ever tilt-rotor aircraft for the military, the V-22 Osprey, took its debut flight. Created in a partnership between Bell and Boeing, the copter wouldn't actually be used in a military mission until 2007. The machine is essentially a combination between a helicopter and an airplane. As such, it has two functions with vertical takeoff and landing, or VTOL, and short takeoff and landing, or STOL. In 1986, the development contract was awarded to Bell and Boeing to produce 6 prototypes. This deal amounted to around $1.7 billion at the time. The government was expecting to pay $20 billion for 913 Ospreys over its lifetime. With recent updates, the Osprey is able to reach a top speed of 270 knots or 311 miles per hour. At the moment, each Osprey cost around $75 million to purchase. In 2020, a civilian version of the V-22 Osprey, the AW609, by Italian company Leonardo, was nearing its release after 24 years in development. At the time, it was expected to cost between $20 and $30 million. During 1995, the first NH-90 had its debut flight. This multi-purpose chopper was created by NH Industries. This group is formed of a number of European aviation companies that were looking to create a helicopter to meet NATO's needs. The companies that founded the group include Airbus Helicopter, Leonardo, and Fokker Aerostructures. The N-90 is a medium-sized chopper that's able to operate both land and maritime objectives. During 2000, the governments from Germany, Italy, France, and the Netherlands signed a joint deal to order their own NH-90s. They purchased a collective 366 helicopters at the price of $8.6 billion, which is a price of around $23.5 million per helicopter. Then in 2006, the NH-90 was picked up by New Zealand. They bought 8 aircrafts for 771 million New Zealand dollars, or around 553 million American, giving us a price of around 69 million US dollars per helicopter. The NH-90 is able to hold 23 troops altogether with a sling capacity of nearly 8,820 pounds. They also had a top speed of 186 miles per hour with a range of 610 miles. According to SVT in Sweden, during 2018, the NH-90s cost a lot more than originally expected to operate. For just 1 hour of flight, they found the expenditure was 200,000 Swedish krona, or around $24,000, which was 5 times more expensive than slightly smaller models.